Welcome to a Stamping to Share Facebook Live. This is my Fab Friday broadcast. I don't do it every Friday, depends on whether or not I'm in town or how much I've going on. But if I can be in town and if I can be stamping and sharing with you, it's my favorite place to be at 10 a.m. on a Friday. And so we are going to talk a little bit about, oh, of course I don't think I brought it with me, but that's okay because I've got the stamp set here. I've got the Blended Season stamp set. This is something brand new from Stampin' Up. It's a limited edition stamp set. You can bundle it with the framelits that coordinate with it, and I'll be showing you some up-close things about that. And I'm going to be talking quite a bit about that this month because they are only available for 1 month. But they are a fantastic set because it can take you through the whole year. And you can do Christmas with this, spring, summer, and fall. And so one of the things that I absolutely love about it is that in addition to having it as a seasonal set, you can also use it for thank you cards. You can use a sentiment maybe from a different stamp set for a birthday card. It's a good friendship card stamp set, a congrats card. So there's a lot of possibilities with this stamp set, and it just really makes me happy to share this with you. So I'm going to be doing that today. I'm going to be using the Big Shot today. Anytime I use the Big Shot on camera, it's like, oh, because it's a fairly good size machine, and we're going to be doing our dies a little bit different. I'm going to show you a different way to do them. And so, well, probably not super different. Many of you know this little tip, but I'll share it anyway, just in case there's someone out there that doesn't. But let me flip the camera down because, well, I want to show you how to make this card. And I can't do it if we don't have the camera facing downward. So let me go ahead and do that and we'll get started here. And so here we go. Here are the stamp sets. Let's see if I can adjust the lighting just a tad. So here's the stamp sets, the Blended Season stamp sets that I was talking about. And my downline group are so lucky because we are going to be doing make and takes this month with with all the images in the stamp set. And they're going to get to make 4 cards at my demo meeting. And so they're beautiful. And then, of course, they have a coordinating set of stitch framelits. And let me show you, because on here it looks pretty impressive, but wait till you see with everything cut out. So I'm going to bring this into the camera. And I want to bring this close because I want you to see this amazing stitching. So you've got the stitching on your regular framelit like this. Can you see that? If I get the lighting just right, you can see the stitched out area. But you also get stitching on the negative side. So I'm not sure. I'm trying to hold it really, really still. But if you look like right here, you can see that we have stitching on the negative image too, which just increases the versatility of these stamp sets so very, very much. You also have some beautiful swirls and some flowers. This is actually a bell. And then we have a leaf, a little bow. This looks really cute. Christmas cards. And then we have some twigs here. And then, of course, we have all of these cutouts that can be layered, and you can do different things with them. So it's a pretty impressive set, wouldn't you agree, as far as the framelits and just the stamp set. So I'm actually really, really loving this. So let me show you the cards. So we are going to create cards that have a little fold over on them, and then they have a pull out. So they look like this. Isn't it great? I just love, love, love it. And I'm going to show you how to make these. And you can use a variety of papers in your backgrounds here. I think today I'm going to use Whisper White, but on this particular sample, and I'm pretty sure I'll never get it close enough to the camera to really show you, but this is the shimmery white. So if you want to really kind of up your game and make your card look extra fancy, use the shimmery white. It's so gorgeous. And then you'll also notice that these little berries here are our new something new to the catalog. There are red rhinestones, and look at these. They're just perfectly sized to fit in these little dots where the berries go. So it makes for a really spectacular card. And the berries, or the little rhinestones, are actually pretty flat. I'm going to hold them up like this so you can see. So that makes mailing them fairly easy if you go ahead and just put a sheet of cardstock over the top of your card. So that kind of eliminates a little bit of the bumps that it would normally have when you take it to the post office. So here's what it looks like, and let me show you a few more. So we can do it with this background. You can do it with this one. Here's another one. I don't have the card in here, but you kind of see what's going on. Here's another one. And you don't have to be limited to blends. I'm going to be showing you blends today, but I want to show you this one that uses the watercolor pencils. So we have a new set of watercolor pencils. It's called our Assortment 2. And look how beautifully they color. Just gorgeous. You can also change out your backgrounds. On this one, I used a real red background to coordinate with the ribbon and, you know, the paper. And then on the one that we're doing today is going to look more similar to this one, and I'm using shaded spruce. That's one of our new colors. That's absolutely gorgeous. So let me show you this paper we're using, which is called Under the Mistletoe Designer Series paper. This is in our regular line, and I bought a lot of it last month because we had the buy 3 get 1 free sale, and I knew that I would be using a lot of this for my cards, and it turns out I am. So this is the card, or this is the paper, and all of the patterns work really, really well, except the deer pattern can be tricky because you don't want your deer being upside down, and it can happen. And I'll show you how you can remedy that. And also the other tricky thing with this deer pattern is that you want to make sure that when you know, if you want your flip over to be a green so that your red ribbon shows up, well, the flip over on this is red. So when you put red on red, it doesn't work as well. So I'm going to show you a little bit different patterns. We're actually going to make 2 cards today so I can show you an alternative if you're using red ribbon. If you do the flip over and you're using a green ribbon, then you're good to go. You don't have to worry about it. But I'm going to give you another option. So let me bring the big shot into the picture here, because this is kind of like one of the big deals about making this card. So I'm going to make the inside insert first. The insert looks like this, and you'll notice that we have this beautifully scalloped top on our insert, and that of course fits right into our card, and it just looks magnificent. So I'm going to show you how to create that insert. So you're going to want to use the largest of these cutouts that come with the set, and let me grab my papers. You're going to have 2 papers here, and one of them is our standard panel size. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm sorry to say I forgot to label this one, but let me give you the measurements. It is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So sorry that I didn't put the measurement on this, but I remember it because I just cut it right before I started the video. So it's 3 3/4 inches wide by 5 inches tall. So that's what we're going to do. So now what we're going to do is take this large cutout, and we are going to take the shaded spruce paper, and we're just going to lay that on our Big Shot machine like this, and then we're going to take this large cutout piece, but we're going to put it sideways, and we're just going to set it up here so that the top, you know, the top of the framelit actually just goes right to the top of the paper, and then these sides are equal. So you want the sides to look equal on both sides so that you get a nice symmetrical look. Then what we're going to do is take a cut plate over the top. So I have my magnetic platform, my cut plate, I set up my die and my paper, and then I have another cut plate over the top, and I'm just going to roll it through, but you're only going to roll it through until it clicks. So you have to listen for the click. Did you hear that? And that's it. So you only roll it to about this far because you want to listen for the clicking sound. And once you've heard that clicking sound, then you know you've cut through that paper. So don't worry, I'm going to do this again with the white panel. So here we go. We can take this off. And then we have our beautiful scallop for the top of this pullout. Then we're going to take the white panel, we're going to do the exact same thing. So we'll just take this cutout here. And again, just to remind you of the measurements, 3 3/4 inches wide by 5 inches tall. And this one, again, we're going to do kind of the same thing. Just make sure that we have our edge almost to the top and we have evenness on each side, so we have a symmetrical look. Then we're just going to take that cut plate here. We're going to roll it in just till you hear the click, and then back. And that's all there is to it. And you'll get this beautiful cutout like this. All right, so now we can go ahead and do some stamping. Let me put the big shot aside. So now let's go ahead and do our stamping. Here we have our Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And the reason I chose to use this one, and it works just fine for the watercolor pencils as well, but I'm going to be using blender pens. And so it's a good idea to stay away from StazOn Black because that's alcohol based. The markers are alcohol based and you'll just have a big mess. So you want to use a water-based ink pad with your alcohol-based markers. And so we're going to open this up and I'm going to ink up the holly. And then we're going to stamp the holly as high as we can on this panel. So we're going to go way up here, almost to the point where you think it's coming off the panel. And there's a reason for that. Let me just grab the card that we're making, which looks like this. If you don't get it really close to the top, when you insert it in, the image might go below this area and then it wouldn't look as nice. So that's why you want to keep the image pretty close to the top. All right, and then I'll just do a little bit of coloring here. Now I'm not worried about blending. So what I'm gonna do is grab my Old Olive light blender pen. And I am not the world's best colorer. I don't ever profess to be, but I love using blender pens because they don't leave kind of like those marker marks like markers do. So I kind of use them just like markers, except they look way better. And as far as blending, these colors are not very close in color, so I'm using Call Me Clover Dark and the Old Olive Light. I did that purposely because I want a lot of pop with this card, because if you notice, the papers are very bright and very colorful, and that's why I'm not really so much worried about blending. I'm kind of looking for a real popping kind of look. So that is what I'm doing. And so it's going to look like this. So once and I'm just coloring these little bead-like things down here with my light Old Olive. Then I take my light Old Olive and I'm just going to wish it around through the middle of these hollies. So you can see, it doesn't take very long the way I do it because I'm not really particular. We're just trying to get a little bit of color through the center of the hollies. So that's done. Then we can take the shaded spruce and we will just go ahead and add a little bit of darker color here. So I do want to finish this on the camera because I want to show you an awesome new tool. You know what, I'm going to flip this around because with me being a little nervous on camera, I'm finding that I'm shaking a little bit. So I'm going to flip it around and use the fine point end. So that gives me a little more control. There, lots more control, looks a little better. But I want to use a new tool that I got on the Alaskan cruise that Stampin' Up! Is introducing in the holiday catalog. You know, I honestly don't even know the name of it. I'm just going to be calling it my pick tool because you can use it to pick up rhinestones and put them on your cards or your projects. So you know how I've always used I've always used this, the paper piercing tool. Well, now we have a new tool that's like way, way better. So I'm really excited about it. And it has an end on it that looks like it's got a little bit of a shovel to it. And you know what that shovel can do? That shovel can pick up just the tiniest little bit of glitter. If you want to use a little bit of glitter on your card, but you don't want your whole table full of glitter, you can use the shovel end of this new tool and just pick up the glitter, like just a little tiny bit. Or have you ever put a layer on a card and then realized it's crooked? Like, how many times does that happen? That happens like all the time. So what you can do with the shovel end is use that little shovel to kind of insert it under your layer and lift it up so it lifts away cleanly from your card, which is also really cool. So here's what it looks like. It's the new pick tool from Stampin' Up. Here's this little shovel end that I was telling you about. Isn't that cool? Like I said, little tiny bit of glitter. And actually, it was my assistant that thought of that idea. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Because how many times have I wanted just a tiny bit of glitter? So you can do that. And then this also comes out, and ta-da! If you really like picking up rhinestones with a paper piercing tool, you do have a big paper piercing tool on the end. I don't know if I would really use it for paper piercing though, because it's huge. It looks like a nail. Look how thick that is. So I mean, if you really need kind of a big hole, you can do it with that end. And so I'm going to just protect myself here because I don't want that exposed and then jab myself. And then here's the pick part, or the picker-upper part. So it's got this little bit of putty on the end. And then as you need more putty, as this gets less and less tacky, you can twist it. I hate to twist it because it'll come out. And we have like a thunderstorm in the area right now, so there's a big low pressure over us, and you know how things go with low pressure. Have you ever had like your entire bottle of glue come out with a low pressure system? Yes, that's what happens. So I don't want to really start it in case it would go crazy. But it comes with, in addition to that, it comes with a refill of this, which looks like this. So once you use this one, then you get a refill one, which is so cool. I love that Stampin' Up! Thinks of everything. And of course you can buy the refills extra, just order them extra when you need them. And then it also comes with a scoring tool, because how many of us with our Simply Scored have lost our scoring tool and we've had to resort to our bone folders. They only sell the score tool with the scoring board, and so it's nice to have this so we have that backup scoring tool. So anyway, a couple of nice things about this new thing. So let me show you the red rhinestones and what I'm going to do. So this is how awesome this works. You know what I should do though before I even do that? I should stamp Merry Christmas. Let me get that on there. So we're going to just stamp that midway down. Not quite midway down, a third of the way down. There, now we're ready to do this. So what I'm going to do is just push at it. So, wow, I barely touch it to push at it, and it's on there. So I can do that for all of these rhinestones, and it goes really nice and fast. See how cool that works? This is probably one of my favorite things in the holiday catalog, and I know my customers have been waiting for something like this. So cool. And you don't have to worry about stabbing yourself because this is very, you know, like with this, sometimes you had to really push on it to get underneath it. And so with this one, you don't have to worry about that too much. I'm just going to reshape my putty end here because it kind of got out of shape, and then we're just going to continue on. All right, so here it is, all gorgeous. Now let's put this on here. So we're just going to do that with some snail. And we have our insert done. So let me just make sure we've got it all lined up. Press it in, and it's done. Except for this little leaf here that I forgot to color. There we go. Now it's done. Doesn't that look pretty, everyone? It's so fun. So now we can just take one of these and pop it in. But you're saying to yourself, well, Kate, what are one of these? So let me show you how that works. So here we go. It is cut. It's a piece of Designer Series paper from the Under the Mistletoe pack, and it's cut at 4 1/4 by 10 1/2, And then I've gone ahead and scored it at 5.5 and 9.5. Really doesn't matter which side you score because it's kind of one of those patterns where it all sort of looks, it's all random, so it doesn't matter. So those are the nice ones to work with because you don't have to think. So anyway, fold it at the 5.5 line, and then at the 9.5 line, you're going to fold it back like this. And then I like to take a little bit of snail, and then we're just going to fold it back to have that stable there. Then we're going to take a little snail again and just run a little tiny bit here right through the middle of that fold part because we want to put our ribbon on now. So to do that, I'm just going to line up my ribbon right where I put the snail. You probably can't see it. I can't either, but I know it's there. Then bring it around, and then you can just press it right on there. Let me grab a scissors. This scissors is not my ribbon scissors, so I was really kind of chewing on it. And then just because I like to be extra careful and make sure that it really works well, I'm just going to grab my paper piercer, purely out of habit here, and I'm going to throw a glue dot under here. And this little rough edge isn't going to show up because we're going to tie a bow. I have so many people ask me how to do bows, and I do have a video on YouTube that shows you how, but every once in a while I like to take the time just to show you in a Facebook Live or a regular YouTube video. So what I do is I just make a loop like this, so it looks like this, just a loop, and then I take my ribbon and I go around the back, see, around the back, and then I kind of just put it under just like you're tying your shoes, and then you just tighten it up and you pull those edges in together, give it one more little tight, and then you trim it. And I have to go get my ribbon scissors because I cannot use this one, so I will be back in a jiffy. You know how I know this is my ribbon scissors? Because there's every kind of dauble on it to make sure that I don't use it for cutting paper. So there we go. Then we'll take a glue dot, and just to be on the safe side, I'm going to take 2 glue dots. Oh, I didn't even get the first glue dot. Hang on. There we go. And then we're going to set this right over the top of where that ribbon came together. So press that in. Then we'll take our little panel that we created, which is right here, and we can slide it in. And we have a completed Christmas card. So pretty. So Doreen is asking, how long does the putty last, and can we get refills from Stampin' Up? Well, I'll tell you the truth. I have no idea how long the putty lasts because I've only used it twice, so I have no idea. Stampin' Up doesn't say. I'm sure it depends on how often you use it. If it dries out or it doesn't get sticky, and then you just kind of break it off, and there's quite a bit of putty in there. I think it's about this full when you get it. And you're not going to need to break that end off very often, maybe once a week or something if you're using it a lot, I would think. That's my guess. And then to keep the putty from drying out, just put this on. And then also, yes, we can get refills from Stampin' Up, so that's going to be handy because one refill comes with it. This is what the refill looks like. One refill comes with it when you purchase it, and then you can also get refills of 2. So that's pretty nice. All right, so let's see. I am going to show you now the tricky one. Because remember I said that, for all of these random ones, it doesn't matter how you score it, where you score it. It kind of does on this one because you don't want your little ornaments to be upside down. So when I did this one, I opened it up and I scored it at 5.5 with the ornaments on the left side going down that way. So that wasn't too hard to figure out. But if you want your deer on the front panel, you want to make sure, okay, so let me grab this. You're going to cut your paper first of all to 4 1/4 by 9 1/2 and then score it at 5 1/2. But you want to score it so that your deer have feet first to the left side of your scoreboard. Then you'll score it at 5 1/2. So when you flip it over, you're only going to go like this, and the deer on the front are going to be right side up. That's important because you don't want upside down deer on the front of your card. Now they're going to be upside down on the back, but who cares about the back? We're worried about the front. And then for this one, you don't have a flip down panel. And the reason I don't have a flip down panel is I'm using our 1/2 inch, what do they call this? Cotton ribbon from Stampin' Up. And it's in real red, and and red on red is just not going to show up that well. So that's why I cut it to just 9.5 instead of 10.5. And then again, you're just going to do kind of the same routine. You're just going to put a little snail here on the left side, and then you'll put your ribbon down. Let me make sure I've got it somewhat straight here. Then we flip it around. You'll see the ribbon on the back, but that's okay. And then you just press it in like that. Oh yes, look how good that cuts. Then, just to be on the safe side, because you don't want this unraveling, grab a glue dot, which oh no, here it is. I was gonna say I thought I had lost it, but I don't know where it could have went because I've just been sitting here. So grab a glue dot and just make sure that is secure on there really well. Then again, you're just gonna tie a bow. Look at that. And then you just trim this so it looks cute. And again, a glue dot. And don't worry, I'll show everybody everything before we sign off here. And it looks like that. Isn't that cute? Even that one's just so cute and sweet, even without the flip down. So here's the flip down one. But you can see how awesome it looks just like that. Even without the flip down. So very much fun. All right, so let me show you all the different ones I've made. Got all these ones sitting here. Some have panels, some don't. I'm actually going to make a bunch of these because it's going to be my demonstrator swap for this month. So anybody in my downline group that is swapping this month with me, this is the card you're going to get. And of course, designer series paper will vary, and you can certainly color it any way you want to. Here's one colored with the new watercolor assortment pencils. And then of course, I'm so lazy, I just like to do things fast. So I've got my light old olive blend and my dark Call Me Clover. And so that's it. And I truly appreciate you. Thanks so much for hanging out with me this morning on my Facebook Live. And if you'd like to place product orders to get this amazing Color Your Season set, and you can also order the watercolor pencils at the same time, just visit my blog. I'll put this whole post up later today. Have a great day. I truly appreciate you. And again, thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.